In May 1997, schoolboy Jamie Lavis was abducted and murdered by bus driver Darren Vickers. Vickers then moved in with the Lavis family, claiming that he wanted to help them find Jamie because he was haunted by the fact he might have been the last person to see him alive. The Lavis family was so blinded by his false determination and desire to bring their son back home alive that they allowed him to continue to live with them. Jamie's remains weren't found until 2 years after his disappearance. During that time, Vickers would make very public appeals on television as he urged the public to help find Jamie and took part in searches he knew were going nowhere. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison in 1997. He was denied parole in February 2023. In February 2023, 17-year-old Jack Snyder saw two boys, aged 13 and 14, walking home in freezing weather, so he offered them a ride. They repaid Jack's kindness by shooting him, leaving his body on the road, and walking away. They were allegedly trying to carjack him. Admiral Jeremiah Denton Jr. conveyed the word torture through Morse code by blinking his eyes while being held captive in Vietnam. His captors recorded this moment for propaganda and broadcast it globally, but naval intelligence successfully deciphered his unique blinking message. He was the first of the American POWs released by Hanoi to step off an American plane during Operation Homecoming on February 12, 1973. In 2012, 65-year-old homeless Miami man Ronald Papo was nearly killed after being attacked by Rudy Eugene. He pounced on Ronald and began to bite and eat his face. Ronald was left with a severely disfigured face. In the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie of 1974, the human skeleton in the house at the end of the movie was a real human skeleton. Due to the small budget, the art director found it cheaper than buying an actual skeleton prop. This photo is from the last performance of Steve Harwell, the lead singer of Smash Mouth. Harwell recently passed away after battling liver failure. He was 56. Murderer James D. French's last words before being executed by the electric chair were, "How's this for your headline? French fries." In 1992, Greg Austin Gingrich died in the Grand Canyon after pretending to fall to his death. In the middle of the joke, he lost his footing and actually fell. Zoroastrianism is an Iranian religion and one of the world's oldest organized faiths. One of the most interesting traditions is that they leave their dead in special towers to be eaten by vultures. Zoroastrians believe that the earth, water, air, and fire are all sacred, and thus burying or cremating the dead would spread impurities to these elements. On March 27, 1977, in Tenerife, Spain, a tragic collision occurred when two fully loaded Boeing 747s crashed into each other, resulting in the loss of 583 lives, marking it as the deadliest disaster in aviation history. This animation recreates how the tragedy unfolded. These leather gloves were found in Abraham Lincoln's pocket the night he was assassinated at Ford's Theater. In 2015, Robert Hewlett and his wife Tracy were sound asleep when a pipe bomb exploded underneath their bed. The perpetrator was revealed to be a farmhand called Douglas Hawley, who was angry at Robert for killing his horse. The horse had been terminally ill, and Robert had him put down. Luckily, both Robert and his wife survived the explosion. Douglas Hawley was convicted on 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder and was sentenced to 105 years in prison. In 1943, Francesca Mann arrived at Auschwitz. When instructed to undress, she intentionally did so provocatively, diverting the attention of the guards. In a daring act of resistance, she seized the roll call officer's firearm and fatally shot a Nazi guard named Josef Schillinger. She managed to injure another guard before tragically losing her own life. The following photos are passengers' views from other planes, looking at the tragedy that occurred on 9/11. Hans van Dyck, who collaborated with the Nazis during World War II, stands trial for treason in Amsterdam in 1947. Throughout the war, she lured fellow Jews out of hiding and facilitated their arrest by the Gestapo. Dyck, motivated by financial gain for each Jew she betrayed, ultimately betrayed at least 145 individuals, including her own brother. This is one of the final photos of Beatles star George Harrison. It was taken for the booklet of Jools Holland's album Small World, Big Band, released in 2001. Harrison passed away on November 29, 2001, in Los Angeles after suffering from cancer. In 2003, Abdul Wali, an Afghan farmer, was falsely accused of being a terrorist. Hoping to clear his name, he turned himself in to the Americans. A CIA contractor would brutally torture Wali to death over the course of 3 days, beating him until he begged for death. This is the last photo taken of Madison Jameson, who along with her father and mother, Bobby and Sherilyn Jameson, disappeared on October 8, 2009. Their remains were found on November 16, 2013. The photo is believed to have been taken by their unknown killer. On January 24, 2006, Jennifer Kessie vanished in Central Florida after leaving work the previous evening. Her car was found at another complex, suggesting abduction. There were no signs of robbery. Poor security footage and her wiped-down car indicated foul play. Her ex-boyfriend and current boyfriend were also cleared as suspects, and investigations yielded no substantial leads. Jennifer Kessie's disappearance remains an unsolved mystery to this day. In 2015, Heather Saul defended herself by shooting and killing Neil Falls, who attempted to R her. Police discovered a kill kit in Falls' car, crediting Heather with stopping a serial killer. This prompted an investigation revealing Falls' suspected involvement in at least 10 murders, particularly dismemberment cases of escorts in Las Vegas from 2003 to 2007, as identified by the FBI. Kim Jong-nam, the eldest son of Kim Jong-il, once seen as the heir, died in 2017 from VX nerve agent exposure in Malaysia. The attack was likely ordered by Kim Jong-un due to his suspicions of CIA collaboration. 4 North Korean suspects left the airport shortly after the attack, traveling back to Pyongyang. Phineas Gage, known as the father of neuroscience, survived a brain injury in 1848 when an iron rod pierced his skull. He remained conscious, even naming co-workers, and surprisingly recovered, though with vision loss and scars. Modern research revealed damage to both prefrontal cortices, affecting emotions and decision-making. While serving a life sentence for murder, Richard McNair pulled off 3 prison escapes, with the most famous one being in 2005 from the USP Pollock in Louisiana. He fooled a cop by pretending to be a jogger, eluding capture for over a year. This is a Mother's Day card made by 8-year-old Gabriel Fernandez in 2013 for his mother. Less than 2 weeks later, on May 24, 2013, his mother and her boyfriend beat him to death. For the vile crime, his mother, Pearl Fernandez, and her boyfriend, Isauro Aguirre, were charged and convicted of first-degree murder with special circumstances of torture. Pearl was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, and Aguirre was sentenced to death. Jennifer Strange, a mother of 3, died of water intoxication in 2007 during a radio contest. She drank excessive water, hoping to win a Wii game. Neglecting her symptoms, she collapsed and passed away. Her family received a $16.5 million settlement from a California jury. Karina Holmer, age 19, won a $1,500 lottery and moved to the U.S. as an au pair. In 1996, she vanished after a night out in Boston. Her dismembered torso was found in a dumpster, strangled. The case remains unsolved. Her lower body was never located. Dutch crime writer Richard Klinkhammer wrote a suspicious book about killing his missing wife. After a decade, her remains were found in their former home's garden. He was convicted of manslaughter and served 2 years due to good behavior. Megan Oxley, age 36, who was paralyzed from the waist down, died tragically when her car ran out of gas on Highway 412 along with her niece and nephew in August 2023. She couldn't exit the vehicle in scorching heat, leading to her untimely demise. Ana Di Pistoia, also known as Baba Anucha, was a serial killer in Yugoslavia who committed between 50 and 150 murders using her love potions that she sold to women who were having marital problems. The woman gave these arsenic-laced potions to their husbands, killing them days later. She was apprehended in 1928 at the age of 90, but due to her advanced age, she was released after 8 years. She died in 1938, aged 100. In 2016, Riley Gall fatally shot his ex-girlfriend Emma Walker through her bedroom wall. Police used undercover tactics involving his friends to gather evidence. Their information removed doubt, leading to Riley's life sentence with parole eligibility in over 45 years. In 2016, 77-year-old Winfred Peele defended herself against 3 robbers at an ATM in Liverpool, England. She bravely fought back, grabbing one attacker's collar and striking his head against the wall, scaring them off and protecting her money. These are the eyes of an electrician after being zapped by 14,000 volts of electricity. His shoulder touched a live wire and the current passed through his entire body, including the optic nerve which connects the eye to the brain. The effect was 2 bizarre star-shaped electrical burns in his eyes, according to the New England Journal of Medicine. Myra Hindley, standing in the center, casually chats to her younger sister, standing on the left, on the doorstep of her home, while Ian Brady looks into the distance with his hands in his pockets, circa late 1964 to 1965. It was behind this door that Brady and Hindley ended the lives of 2 of their 5 child victims. This photo of Amelia Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, was taken shortly before their departure on an attempt to make a circumnavigational flight of the globe. On July 2nd, 1937, her plane disappeared somewhere over the Pacific Ocean. What exactly happened remains a mystery. This 1883 photograph shows the eruption of the Krakatoa volcano. The explosive force was the equivalent of a 200 megaton bomb. The eruption claimed the lives of over 36,000 people and cooled the entire Earth by an average of 0.6 degrees Celsius. The ensuing tsunami waves reached as high as 150 feet, rocking ships as far away as in South Africa. This photo shows people running from a cloud of debris from the collapse of the World Trade Centers on September 11th, 2001.